The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the makeshift Upmarket studio in foggy, it's not foggy today, in Oxnard, California. This is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media. And man, Mark Corcoran, COO, another co-founder here today.
Mark's in the building.
We made it safely back from our Las Vegas jaunt when in the car we rode together.
That's
no
right.
one died.
Yeah, that was a lot of Reed and Mark time.
It was a lot of Reed and Mark time. It only would have been better if Chelsea had been there. But happy to say Chelsea is here today on the pod.
Here.
Producer Chelsea. My God, it feels like forever since you've been on the pod.
I know. It has been forever.
Yeah, you missed out on PMRE.
Yeah,
the
we missed
PMRE
you.
fan club. And where's Chelsea?
Everyone was asking about Chelsea. Miss Chelsea there in Las Vegas, and
I missed everyone there.
Yeah, but you had to hold it down. We had 20 shoots while we were gone.
Very busy while you guys were gone. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Go figure.
The benefits of scaling is I didn't even know one of the addresses. I was just drunk.
I was checking in on stuff while you were passed out on the casino floor, so it's all good.
Well, we have one responsible person. I think we're recording this. This will come out after Thanksgiving. We're recording this a little before Thanksgiving, but we've had some time to recover. And I think we're feeling good. It was another awesome PMRE. We don't need to talk too much about it because I feel like a lot of our episodes recently have been PMRE focused, and we had the action item spectacular last episode, which is one of my favorite episodes. I love that episode. The both times we've done it, and we'll do it again next year, of course. But I did want to say that we want to check in because we recorded all those action items before the conference. And so now that we've had the conference, I don't think we can overstate how big of an announcement it was at the very end of the conference with the hype video announcing the move from South Point Casino to the Palms and then announcing the third optional day.
Yeah, and that was something you kind of knew about. I knew a little bit. Some people knew bits and pieces, right?
Brandon Cooper had shown me the video at the casino, at one of the bars at the casino, like at 1 a.m.
That's right. And you were super excited.
I was like, oh man, you guys are going to wait till you see this video. So if you want to see this video, which I highly recommend you watch, even if you're not planning on going to PMRE, because after you watch it, actually, you're going to want to go. But it is at PMREconference.com. I think there is like a video that auto plays there, but if you click on it, it'll take you to the announcement video, that hype video, and man, if you're not pumped after that, man.
Yeah, production was good, right? They did a great job on it. Brandon
was
the
whole team. They had Devin Pastorius and his Windsor creative team, and I know Fraser Almeida helped out on it. So I mean, it looks amazing. Chelsea, I was like, Chelsea, you got to watch it, and then she took 4 days to watch it.
It was the weekend, so yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
you didn't want to. Wow. Didn't want to watch it on your time off. And I thought Chelsea cared about this.
Not a top priority, I guess.
Yeah. But it was very exciting when I finally watched it.
Yeah, they busted out the new logo, new venue. The whole thing was cool.
I know. Well, Chelsea may want to go next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
She may need to, depending on what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. So I think, I don't know, the conference was awesome. As always.
Conference was great.
So many, we talked to so many people. And the presentations were pretty much, I don't think there was a dud in the bunch. So
different energy levels on stage, obviously, but they all kind of hit the mark and had takeaways from everything, which is always good. For sure. So, job well done, everyone. Yeah, it was interesting to me. It's getting so familiar to us now, right? The third year in South Point, and it kind of felt like a little bit of a transition year because we knew something was coming, but that didn't mean on the stage that it fell short in any way. I mean, it definitely delivered.
Yeah, you could see, but I feel like the vibe in the room was ready. People were ready for something different, and I think Brandon knew that. Brandon's known that for a couple of years, and he's been working really hard, I think, behind the scenes for years to figure out what the growth how PMRE is going to grow and where that can take it. Because the South Point, I think, was actually a really great venue for this, but it's outgrown it. and you could kind of feel it this year. So
the spasmatics were there again, right? But the energy was just, I don't know, it just felt a bit different in the room.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Chelsea was not going nuts with the spasmatics, but
Reed didn't even make the dance floor this year.
No,
so
everyone just kept buying me Bushmills at the bar. Mike LaFave.
Oh yeah.
And then Rachel Ann buying me shots. Oh man. Well, thanks, Rachel Ann.
You had a therapy session, so that's good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Reed, drink this tequila and tell me your problem. So we, and I think that goes to, we haven't done, we've been a little lax on our podcast episodes. There's just been stuff going on. And I think a lot of people know, and a lot of people who are at PMRE know, my mom died a few weeks ago. And it's okay. I'm not even crying about it that much anymore, but now you just say it on the podcast and,
it's a weird thing to say out loud. You never get used to
I'm
that.
used to it now, but it's been a long few months. That road has been, tough. And I feel like, the whole month of October, I wasn't even around.
Yeah.
And so,
physically, mentally, like you were just, too much going on.
So I was, out of town and just too much stuff going on. And so, we were not able to do the pod, which we've missed. So, and that's basically why, because of that. And it can be, the podcast is important, but it's also hard to find the time to get us all together and have the topic and have the energy and have the
100%. And it doesn't work without you in the room. So it's like Chelsea and I
could you imagine me and Mark on it?
I can. I think that'd be great.
We might be able to pull it off, but I don't know if he would listen to it.
I'll try one time.
I want to hear that. That would be fun.
Yeah. But you're the energy behind it. So if you're not 100% there, and then it's just not going to work.
Well, yeah. But I'm back. I feel, I'm fine. I mean, it's been a couple weeks now, and I mean, whatever. It's all the emotions all the time. And, you just kind of work through it day to day. And,
it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
And then your dad's had some, it's just so much stuff going on.
Jeez, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on. And so I feel like we've been a little absent on the pod. So I think we should probably kind of catch people up on what's been going on with Upmarket Media.
Yeah.
Because this is about the business. Let's talk about the business.
It's been quite a year for us, huh?
Yeah, I would say. And I mean, I was just looking back at our episodes, and I don't think we've done like an episode that wasn't about Zillow and Aereo or PMRE since like early July.
Yeah.
And it's now
too long,
mid-November. So, and the last one was titled "The Struggle Is Real." And so how are we feeling?
That's just the topic of the year.
Yeah.
It's been a weird year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, how are we feeling now?
Well, I mean, still the big story is like inventory, right? Listings are down, I think across the board, 30-40%, depending on the market. So that's still the kind of biggest.
Nationwide, Brannick was saying on stage at PMRE that it was 35%.
Yeah, and I think it's a little higher in LA and our kind of area, just depending on how.
I feel like it's 40 here in Ventura County. However, I feel like, and I know you guys concur, that the last like 3 months have been busier than any time earlier this year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of salvaged our year a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we kind of were waiting for that spring. I think that's our Struggle Is Real episode was like, oh, where's this kind of spring surge? And it just kind of felt like it was plateauing. And then summer was just kind of meh. Mm-hmm. And now through the fall, it's actually like, oh, wow, we're actually doing packages. We're getting new clients. We're kind of cranking.
Usually when we slow down right now. It's all picking up.
Yeah. Which is great. Well, and we're coming right into Thanksgiving week, which is always a slow week.
But finally rates are on the downward kind of slide, it feels like.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting in looking at those stats that Brannick and Matt had on stage was, looking at it in terms of how your business is doing even within that. And we have felt like we've been struggling all year. And we have, and I think almost, across the board in talking to people at the conference, it's like, everyone's like, it's been a tough year. I mean, there are definitely people who are like, well, no, I'm up 30% or, whatever, but
there's a few unicorns out there, I guess.
Yeah. And for us, the stat that Brannick and Matt were pointing out was that if your business, if listings are down nationwide 35%, but your business is only down 15%, you're doing really well.
Yeah.
And
you're picking it up on somewhere else, right?
And I think that's where we are kind of. If we're down 40% in Ventura County on listings, but I think as a company, we're down from last year, but probably, I think we're going to come in maybe 17, 18% down.
Yeah. It's close to 20%, I think.
So that I think is a victory. And it has been, how many in our Slack back and forth is like, oh, add this new client to QuickBooks, add this new client. We've just been getting so many new clients this year.
Well, that's the other thing, right? The inventory's down, but your market share increases to kind of balance that out. And I actually crunched some numbers last night. I was curious to ask you guys what you thought. I looked through since January.
Okay.
The number of new clients that we've brought in to our system and done shoots for. And this is something that we should know. So that's why I did it, because I feel like it's something that we should have a good finger on our pulse of. But
as the CEO, I of course know these numbers, Mark.
Right. So I have the number. I'm just curious what you guys thought, like ballpark.
New clients?
New clients for the whole year. For the last 11 months.
Felt. Since January, so that's about 45 weeks or something.
About 10, 11 months.
Yeah, I would put, I would say 60.
Okay. What do you think, Chelsea? You're the one putting them all
80.
in. Okay.
Around 80.
So I went through Aereo, and it kind of ranks the customers as you add them in. So they're all still there. I went through, there's 133 new people we've put into Aereo since January.
New people we've put in. So is that team members and stuff? Or those
a couple of them are, but most of them are shoots, new clients.
Jeez.
Even if 30 of those are team members, that's still 100 new.
Yeah, so we're over 100, and that's not including all the Sotheby's agents that are maybe not inside that system.
Right.
So it's I feel like that's kind of a minimum.
A brokerage deal that we've never said the name of out loud on the podcast.
Yeah, I never said brokerage deal, but you did. Those people outside of Aereo, and there's
we have a few clients. We have a brokerage deal that we don't put them into Aereo, but we've got a ton of new clients through that.
Yeah, so 130 plus new clients, which is when you're down 30%, that's kind of a 20-30% boost in our client base.
Yeah, because how many, and I guess in context, like how many clients, I feel like we were coming in around 500, 600 clients total. We started the year with. Yeah, and I don't actually know that number.
640 or something in there now. So I guess we started at around 500.
Right. So that's that's incredible.
Yeah.
So that's really salvaged us, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We already felt like we were saturated locally, but that just goes to show that there's
there's always room to grow.
Yeah, because I noticed too, we aren't shooting with a lot of our regulars, like from earlier in the year. Some of our favorites who we used to call every 2 weeks. I haven't heard from in months. So it's interesting.
Well, but we kind of keep tabs, or Mark does, on social media. And I think when those, like we just had one this week where, wait a sec, this is our good client and they're posting a new listing. We didn't shoot it. What happened there? What happened there? And we kind of figured it out. Mark and I, before we recorded this morning, we went to the pre-caravan meeting and they were there. And it turns out it was a realtor in Santa Barbara who owned the house. So we're like, okay, it's got to be like
his team involved. And all that.
Yeah.
But it's a little startling when you're like, man, you have a good relationship with someone and then they're posting a new listing that you were not a part of.
I have one aside right now that I want. This is kind of a off topic, but a lot of people don't have caravans. We were talking about caravan at PMRE, and some people were like, "What in the hell is that?"
Yeah.
So what we have in Ventura County, and I thought it was everywhere, but apparently not, where all the agents, here they meet at a little sandwich shop and then have a kind of a meeting. Everyone talks about what new listings are buyers, or someone presents, it's like 45 minutes. And then there's a list of all the new properties that are on the market this week. And then the agents hold them open for the other agents to come and check out the listings. And so then they caravan around, in their own cars.
I call it broker tour, broker caravan. I don't know where that word comes from. I guess because they all kind of carpool, like you said, and caravan to it. But it's a way to like market the listings and get the buyer's agents like seeing stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's that. So, but 130 new clients. That's wow.
Yeah. Good job, us.
Yeah. Good job. Well, how did we get that? I think there's three ways. I think we get it from our website and our branding and our social media. People are absolutely coming in with that. It's the in-person marketing that we've been doing. We've been doing things like going to caravan meeting, and we've been going to all the networking events. I mean, like every single one that's on the calendar, we're trying to send somebody there.
Yeah. If both of us go, great. If one of us can make it, then that's, we just do what we can.
Yeah. And then it's the brokers.
Yeah, a lot of referrals.
The brokerage deals we have. And a lot of referrals. I mean, that's where
that's kind of the standard. Yeah,
the referrals come in, but yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about that later, like maybe at the end of the episode.
At the very end of the episode.
But, we need to do a better job on knowing, like we should know that number and we should know what percentage came from where. And we did kind of start like a kind of janky spreadsheet that I put together. And I think Chelsea and I have kind of lapsed on doing that and bringing people in and where they came from and what package they ordered.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. We may be implementing a new system that will help us with that. Yeah.
Exactly. So we need a better system for that.
Yeah. But that, and I think you're exactly right, Mark. Had we just, which I think in a nutshell is kind of what you're saying is like, had we just kind of kept our normal rate of expansion in terms of how many clients we get, we'd be out of business this year, or at least would have had to fire people or something.
It would have been tough.
Yeah. It would have been really, really hard. So if we had 133 new clients and we're down 20%, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. We could have been down 40%,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that would have been
a disaster
in the red, big time.
Total disaster.
Yeah. And, I was talking to an agent, I was talking to Jeff at a shoot a couple of days ago, and he's like, man, there's just so many agents that are just either dropping out or in really bad shape and hurting. Yeah. And if, the people that get 3 or 4 listings are suddenly getting 1 or 2 or none. And then it's just, man, he was just really portraying that his agents and his colleagues are just,
oh yeah.
And he's like, how are you guys doing? And like, he was really like kind of concerned. And I'm like, well,
you pull up in your new Tesla.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we're hanging in there.
Well, and that goes to show too, when there's fewer listings to go around, as we've talked about, agents have to spend more to get those listings out there. And that's a way of marketing. And one of the things that I love the most, and God, do you remember who said it? And I just used it on an agent. Someone had said that, a listing is an asset. Mm-hmm. And it is up to that agents should want to maximize that asset, leverage that the best way they can. And that's why
that stuck in my head. And you leaned over during that talk at PMRE, right?
Yeah.
Like, man,
do you remember who said it?
Yeah, it was during Cheyenne's.
Oh, it was during Cheyenne.
And she quoted another real estate marketing person somewhere. Yeah.
Shout out Cheyenne. I don't care who said it originally. You curated that. So good job, Cheyenne.
She owned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it made a lot of sense, right? Because you don't invest in a transaction, you invest in an asset.
And I think realtors understand that language. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the kind you're talking their language right there. Assets, leverage. Oh, they love those kind of words.
Yeah. All that big financial mumbo.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, but we mentioned, or you mentioned right away, like, man, we need to like incorporate that in the way we talk about what we do, right? I mean, Absolutely. It just makes so much sense.
Absolutely. No, I think that would, honestly, that was the biggest takeaway I took from PMRE, potentially. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And it's something we already knew, but it just, that's what I love about PMRE. It kind of like articulates or puts something in your head that you already knew, but it just kind of reinforces it and gives you a way to communicate it, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's honing the message. I mean, and in talking to people and just going over what people are doing in their business, it's just, you can just get that twist, that little tweak of how you're looking at something. Mm-hmm. And that can really inform, how we present it to agents and the stuff we're offering. So, wow. So to only be down. So good. We've established that we're awesome. So
we didn't even know how awesome we were, but now we do.
I mean, God, I was pretty egotistical, before, but now, wow, watch out world.
Well, it's interesting. You came up with 60 and 80 and it's, double that. So
yeah. Well, I was just like, 2 a week.
Yeah.
Or that wasn't even 2 a week, but I was like, wow, it's not more than that, but it is. Mm-hmm. It's like 5. It's whatever. I don't know math. It's 3 a week.
Yeah. It's too many weeks. I can't go that high.
Yeah. So, okay, good. But so then we, in terms of servicing those clients, because one of the big things that has happened kind of since our last check-in episode is that we're a little leaner now.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, well, if we had recorded this a week ago, it would be a little different, but I guess we can kind of progressively go through that. We, with our longest, and the backstory is going, and this is with our employees, we had our kind of legacy holdover employee from our pre-merger days, who was primarily doing our video. And he was, I think getting to a point, having worked for us for like 4 years, was probably getting a little bit bored, a little bit sick of the thing.
The burnout was pretty evident, right?
Yeah. And we had gotten feedback from agents on a few shoots would be like, oh, do you think you could send someone who wants to be here?
Right.
Who enjoys their work?
Is everything okay with that? It's like, I think so.
And, and to his credit, he was very forthright with us and said, yeah, I haven't been happy. And it's not you guys, hey, there's these little things that you maybe could do, but it's really, I don't like realtors. I don't like,
And we did a lot, right? Because he came in as a video guy, but we had him doing everything and he didn't like doing everything. He wanted to do video. So we tailored that to him. And
so we said, okay, look, how's this? We'll have you just do video because that's what you say you enjoy the most. And, we'll have, because we have enough staff, we'll have other people pick up the photo shoots. It's going to cost us a little bit more because there's a bunch of shoots where if it's going to be photo and video, we would just have one person do everything, but now we'll have to send 2 people. But, we're trying to be flexible and he does such high quality work that we want, hey, we still want you working for us.
Yeah. We love his video. Everyone loves his video stuff. So we made that concession, right?
Yeah. So we took our other employee, Marco, out for lunch a few days later because we had to be like, hey, we got to make sure that everyone's ready for this extra work they're going to get. Yeah. And then you were at lunch. I didn't actually go to that.
Yeah, you bailed out on me.
We might have said this in the last episode that we did the check-in, but I don't remember.
Possibly, but it was, it was like, man, Marco, you're going to be the main guy now. You're going to take it all and, you're ready for more hours. And then he just started sweating and rubbing. It's like, oh, man. And I knew something was coming. I was just sitting there just waiting for it. He's like, oh, yeah, been thinking a lot. I realized it's really hard for me to say this, but it's time for me to move on. I was like, oh, Marco. Yeah, it was like a dagger.
Yeah. So
when you have such a small team, like everyone's just so integral, and we're like you feel like you're more than employer and employee. You just have that connection and relationship, and that was a hard one, man.
Yeah. So he effectively quit. And I think he gave us a couple more weeks, 3 weeks. He did.
Yeah, he gave us more time than he initially said. We had about a month with him, so that really helped.
Yeah, and so we lost Marco. And then, I don't know, it was another month later, 6 weeks later that our original employee, we got some more feedback that he still wasn't happy. And he's like, I'm just like, it just hasn't worked. I just haven't been happier. I'm going to wrap it up.
Yeah. So that was our main video squad, right?
Those were our 2 video people.
That was our video squad.
Yeah, that was our video squad. And so he gave us he was cool. And there's no bad blood. I mean, we want the best for him, and I know he wishes our business well, and and ultimately we want our employees to be happy. If they're not happy, we don't want them working for us because it doesn't work. Our clients can tell, we want to have a
That's
team
a lose-lose.
Yeah, it's just a lose for everybody. And so it's in our best interest for them to be happy. And if they're not, hey man, no worries. I get it. Obviously I stopped shooting because I wasn't happy.
Exactly. Yeah. So you totally get it. And then when it's your business and you're invested that heavily, it makes sense. But when you're an employee and man, you're just cranking through the shoots, then I get it.
Yeah. And so thankfully he gave us, 6 weeks notice, something like that. And so we're like, well, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had that conversation after Marco's lunch too. It's like, well, we need video help, right? Like, what's it going to be? Is Reed going to be our video guy? And it's like,
no, that's not going to work. Even though, hey, look, video in our company originated with me and Liz, my wife, was the editing, but I was shooting it all. But then I was shooting it on a slider, and now we're using a gimbal, and so I'm not super comfortable on the gimbal, but obviously I could learn potentially, maybe. So we decided that instead of trying to hire someone new, which seemed daunting, and given the fact that we've been down all year, or we haven't had the volume, and it's been hard to get actually enough hours to our employees.
Right. And we had just kind of brought on Jazz at that point, I think. We already had her under our wing. I mean, she
was working with us. Yeah.
We were going through training with her, and we thought she was going to be our video person when we hired her, but
it turns out she wasn't quite where we thought she was on video, and she'll get there, but we were getting her trained up on photos. Well, we didn't want to hire anyone else. So
let's use what we got, right?
Mark and
Mr. Video
and Nikki, who are our other shooter, who has been, now she's been with us. So coming up on 2 years. but she only knew photos. And so we said, well, look, because our goal has always been, we want everyone to be able to do everything. And so, hey, this is a great opportunity actually for Mark and Nikki to learn video.
Yeah, we had a month to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I think you talked to Nikki about it, and I kind of like, had some time to myself to ponder it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And it was a little scary, but it's actually, for me, it's been fun because it kind of reinvigorated things a little bit. It brought a little creativity back into what I do. And, it's been...
Well, I think Chelsea and I were privately saying, I think Mark will actually really like doing video. And I think he'll be really good at it. And so... because if you weren't, it was going to be Chelsea out there.
Oh,
No.
Remember we had Chelsea in the field doing Matterports when she first started?
2 days.
Didn't work.
Yeah. I was like, this is so fun. You're like, give it 6 months. You won't be
Phone's blowing up in your pocket. You're like,
So we got Nikki and Mark trained up as best we could. And then our guy left and there you were. You had to be doing all our video.
And they're great.
Super daunting at first, but it's...
Yeah.
You have to get to that certain level where you can just walk in like, you do with photo shoots and you just have that comfort and that any house, no matter what it is, I can knock it out of the park. And I feel like I'm pretty much there now with video.
Yeah. And I think maybe if we had like a super, super high end place, maybe not. I think you guys could shoot it though. And we had started, our video editing was all done in house.
That was the bigger piece
for a while. And before these guys both left, even before they said they were leaving, we had started to outsource some of our video editing because it just wasn't, we were doing enough video that it just wasn't, and we got feedback from Marco. He's like, I don't like editing video.
Right. We just needed to keep that turnaround time. That was the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. And then we realized, we could outsource it. Our photo editors actually edit video too. And so we could, we send it just right to the same place and it would come back still next morning. And so we, and I don't think they're as well edited as our in-house team did, but they're pretty close. And we haven't gotten a single complaint, of course.
There's some music issues here and there, but that always happens anyway. So music is just always one of those tricky things. But
and that's pretty easily remedied. And then
we just got feedback this morning, right, from Nikki, that video she did was so awesome.
That's right, awesome,
great job.
And so we kind of transitioned to the two of you doing video, and it's been pretty smooth sailing. I feel like.
Yeah, we had the gear, we had the expertise, so we just kind of switched the expertise over, and it's been working.
Yeah, and one of the things that I wouldn't say gives me pause, but is that we can do property tours. But as we saw at PMRE, all the other kind of video stuff and the stuff where when we had our original guy and Marco on staff, like. They had sound. We have sound equipment. They can do that. Right. They can light if need be. So so when you have to do some of these things that are not just touring a property and where the agent wants to be on camera, I think we're not out of the woods on that for sure because you guys don't know anything about sound. Basically,
not enough to pull it off. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard, but it brings a few other moving elements into it. So
yeah. And that's kind of, it feels like where the industry's going. It hasn't, I don't know. We haven't really gotten the requests from, there's been a couple here and there, but
I know other markets are just more into that. Just here in this market, they're just not that into it. I mean, we've talked about it a million times with people and no one wants to be on camera.
And I see some agents doing it kind of in-house with their partner or their assistant or whatever on a cell phone. And it kind of works for that, for the more informal stuff. But
But I bet if we had one where we were doing, videos like Cheyenne's doing, or like we saw Cody Boone doing, at PMRE, we might get more people wanting to do it. But it has been a hard sell for us. And it's also part of it too, is I think our heart's not in it. I don't think we really want to do it. So I think
it's just so much more time consuming in the field. And it's just like, how do you really charge accordingly and who's going to do it? And do we need a second person to show up? It's just, man. Yeah. So we're not pushing it. So we're not it's like, if it comes, we'll figure it out, but we're not really creating that product.
Yeah. And I feel like where we are with video right now is this will get us through. It'll get us through the end of the year and starting, but as next spring approaches, and if it is going to be a busier spring than it was last year, I think we're going to have to, at the beginning of next year, kind of really assess and figure out, how are we approaching video? Do we need to have more people who can do video?
Right. Because it does, even if we're not getting requests for it right now, it opens us up, I think, to outside competition or whatever. It's just like, if we're not doing it, someone else is going to fill that void maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's something we'll probably talk about a bit more because we're going to do, I didn't clear this with Mark, but I assume he wants to. Uh-oh. Last year we did our SWOT analysis episode and, our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats episode, which, we do with Jeff, our business advisor, at the end of every year. And last year we kind of recreated it as a podcast episode. And I think we should do that again this year. I think it's a real helpful episode. Yeah. So that's that. We'll definitely be talking about that quite a bit in that episode, I think.
But we do have good news on that this week.
Right? Oh, that's a good tease. That's a good tease, Chelsea. And why don't we take a little break? We're going to do a couple ads. We're going to do our social media sidebar, and then we're going to come back with, we got shouted out. Our social media sidebar got shouted out on stage by Cheyenne. Oh, thank you. We got like 6 shout outs on stage at PMRE. That was pretty cool, between jokes and whatever.
Where's the Upmarket guys?
Yeah. So that was really fun, actually. So, but anyway, we're going to do that social media sidebar and some ads, and we will be back and we will say that other kind of breaking news that we had when we got back from PMRE.
All right.
All right, Aereo. Oh, so good to see all the Aereo crowd at PMRE. But we're here to talk about the product of Aereo. We know the team is awesome. And that's part of it, though. You have all that great support. If you ever have an issue with anything, you get on that Aereo chat immediately, boom, it's done. And Brannick is still, even a big old important Brannick, Mr. Zillow there, is like still, if it comes up in the Facebook groups, Brannick is like, oh yeah, I've contacted customer support. We'll get back to you. It's like they are so on top of it.
He jumps right in there. Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think that page was designed to be a customer support, but it kind of ended up being that. But he directs people back, and it works. Yeah.
Exactly. So you always know that their team is going to be on top of it if there's ever an issue. And it's a great service, but of course, occasionally there's an issue, but they're always on top of it. And they're always also all the time innovating. I mean, Chelsea, you were just saying they've made some things a little more user friendly recently.
Yeah, they just rearranged the system for our side of it.
Oh, okay, right.
So it's definitely more user friendly. I had a nice long Zoom call.
Oh, right.
Where, we touch base on like what works, what doesn't work.
Right.
And I think they really integrated those things.
Oh, nice. I like too when you're on the listing page, you can rearrange the little tiles now to get it how you want, like that. Just little things like that.
All the little things.
Constantly making those little improvements.
Yeah.
So, we know that Aereo is the best place to grow your business online. And so if you want to give Aereo a try, which we highly recommend, you can get 15 free bonus listings if you use the code Upmarket at checkout. That's Aereo.com, ARYEO.com, Aereo. One of the things that I bet as we think about PMRE moving into the new venue over at Palms Hotel, Casino, and Resort in November next year is how are they going to plan that in the showroom? One of the things that I think that you could really use doing that would be a floor plan. Because then Brandon Cooper would know exactly the dimensions of the stage, all that kind of stuff, where, where the multimedia stuff is, all that kind of stuff. And how they could do that? They could use a second floor app.
They could. Then they could plan it where the Upmarket booth is going to be.
That's right. That's right. Well, and the big thing is that now he could also get the GLA square footage of that space instantly.
That's true. That's a nice update there.
That is. And I think that's been the most requested upgrade on second floor in the year that they've been around. And now you have it. So the thing with second floor is you have that app and you can go around and you get that floor plan instantly. So you can deliver it to your client while you're still on site. If that is your jam, you can do that. And now you can also instantly get that GLA square footage data.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. If you want the garage included, you just click it. If you don't, you click it and it takes it out of the GLA. I mean, it's instant and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And, and he was on the Action Item Spectacular episode, but Adam Housley, the founder of Second Floor, such a great guy, such a smart guy. Like I'm so happy that we have this partnership because I think there's big things coming from Adam and from Second Floor in particular. So if you want to give it a try, go to secondfloorapp.com/upmarket and you are going to get, or / I don't know, whatever you use. And you're going to get a free month of service. You can do a ton of floor plans. You could probably do the whole Palms Resort in a month.
That'd be a good use of your time. Yeah,
it would be. It would be. I know Brandon would really appreciate it. Secondfloorapp.com. That's all spelled out, not the number 2/Upmarket. Get a free month. Do it. All right, social media sidebar time. Come on, follow us on social media, Upmarket Pod, everywhere. I mean, Instagram. And then also you can follow upmarket.media. We're there on Instagram and Facebook as well. And you know, Mark, I think you should check out our course, upmarketcourse.com, how to scale and grow your real estate media business. If you do that, you can book a call with me to learn more about the course or just shoot the shit, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. But our webinar is still up there, right? Upmarketcourse.com/webinar if you want to relive Reed's presentation last year at PMRE.
Yeah. Well, it was a good presentation. People were telling me this year, that was a good presentation. So thanks.
Yeah, you getting up there again this year? Like, not so much, but
no. I'm like, did you look at the roster of people speaking? I'm not on there. So
no,
I'm not getting up there. But you can go to upmarketcourse.com. And if you do book that call and we have a chat, I always love to chat to people. We will also throw you a pretty nice discount code if you are interested in doing the course. And we got some great feedback from people who were taking the course and said, hey, I got a lot of great information out of that. So it was nice to see those people.
It was cool. Coming up to it, man, I feel like I know you guys. I've been looking at your faces for way too long.
I know. I'm like, well, I can't believe you got a poster of us and hung in your bedroom. But hey, teach their own. Teach their own. Social media. Well, there is some breaking news in the social media world of Upmarket Media. Chelsea, we have Feeding Beautiful, which is her Instagram account, which, we always are talking about that because it's always fancy travel and food and just the beautiful life, like walking and, sunrises and sunsets.
When I'm eating grilled cheese for dinner, I always look and see what Chelsea's making.
But Chelsea, what's the latest big thing for Feeding Beautiful?
I finally launched my site. So you can go and check out recipes and get to know me a little more, it's
very nicely done too.
Vulnerable on my post there.
I got it. See, Chelsea, my mom died. Okay. So I haven't been able to check out your website yet. So I'm going to, I keep meaning to tap on that.
There's no rush. I do it at my own pace as well. It's, when I'm feeling inspired and
so does this website have a URL perchance?
It does. Feedingbeautiful.com.
All right, that
Very
makes sense.
Easy to remember.
Perfect. That makes sense.
Why that was available.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Well, and then we're always looking forward to more social media content from you. I do want to, in the social media sidebar here, I want to take a second to point out one of the things that Kelsey Curtis talked about when she was on stage there, and one of the things we took away, which was the 2-swipe rule.
Yeah.
Which I think is out there. People talk about it. I don't think she made it up, but kudos to her.
It was, the way she kind of laid it out to the industry, right? It's like if you laid out 10, 20 Instagram profiles of everyone in the room, looked at all the houses, it all looks the same to the
Well, that's
consumer,
what she said.
right?
She's like, I looked at all your social media before I got here because, we had the PMRE app and all the people were there. You could put your social media and she's like, it all looks the same. I didn't know who was who.
Yeah. I see a business name. I see a photo of a house and that's about all I see.
Yeah. So, and her point was that if you're looking at the Instagram page, the grid page, and if you have to swipe up twice and you don't see a face or you don't see the people who are behind the business, that's a fail. And that you're way less likely to convert the person looking at that into a customer. Because as Chelsea has been talking about for a year and a half or almost 2 years of this podcast, people want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see who we are. They want to see all that stuff. And so
they want to know the experience of working with us, right?
Yeah. And we just don't do that enough.
No.
So
there's some stuff in stories, but not on the profile, I think. And we can definitely do better.
I think we're failing at the 2-swipe test.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the bin posts or something. Yeah. I don't know.
This is why you have to get a little vulnerable. That's why I had to do it for my site.
Yeah, that's true. That's well.
Just have to put yourself out there a little bit more.
I talked about my mom passing away in this podcast, so I feel like Reed was very vulnerable. So yeah, we're really
connecting.
We're waiting on you.
We're really
my dog
died,
guys. Come on.
You did. Your dog did die. Your dog did die. I think my mom overshadowed the dog, but as
in my house, it's still a big deal. But it's
I know you just posted, or your wife just posted some like lament or, oh, I missed the dog. We used to hike to
such
the top
a presence
of
in your house, and then they're just gone. It's like, man, that's rough. He was my buddy for 14 years. So.
Yeah. So
there you go. Honorable.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate it.
I don't know if that needs to live on our Instagram page, but
Oh shit! You should post the dead dog content on our Upmarket Media. People love that stuff. No, they love that stuff. I mean, you will. Oh wow, you guys are really suffering over there. People love animals so much that it's a great. But yeah, I think you should put something. In all seriousness, you should put something, even in the stories. Oh, hey, Upmarket family lost. I don't. That's the thing. I don't want to use my mom that way, but you could use the dog. And
we'll see. Yeah.
People love that, and people probably knew your dog from walking around. And
people see us around. So
yeah. So anyway. Oh, there we go.
It's good to get personal sometimes.
Exactly. So the 2-swipe test.
And I think that's something we struggle with because we're a business, right? And I kind of run the Instagram account, but I'm like, well, I don't want to be the face of just the business. So it's like, how do you have a personality as a business when you're a team? It's like you want to kind of intersperse the team members and not just be a one face kind of business.
Yeah, because I don't want to be the face of it either.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing.
We're like, oh, Chelsea will do it. And it's like, no, that doesn't really work either. But I think all of us combined can do a better job with.
Yeah, I think we all need, it needs to be employee spotlight or which includes us probably.
I'll write yours. Doesn't need to be too long,
He's very questionable morals. He wants to use the death of beloved pets and parents to get more business.
He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, he's a real asshole that guy.
Nice.
So, all right. Anyway, those are your hot social media tips.
Yeah, that went off the rails. But
all right. Well, come on. We got a lot more content coming. We got action items at the end. So stick around after this music that's going to come up right now and get a little louder, and then it's going to fade, and then we're going to start talking again. So we came out of the summer short-staffed and, down our video shooters, but now we, I feel like we were like lean and mean fighting. We, and then of course that made me get back out in the field too. That's the other big thing.
Yeah. The backup guy was suddenly back at it.
Yeah. So I was out there, doing shoots and forgetting to do floor plans.
That seems to be your specialty.
As much as I talk about floor plans on here, I forget to do it. It was like, we have the new workful that we've had like all year of like, doing a floor plan on every shoot.
Yeah. We even put it in the calendar to remind you too. It's like,
well, I don't look at the calendar. I was like, there's the address. Okay. I can just go. I'm just doing photos. Yeah. So,
but yeah, it felt, and I think we agreed, it felt kind of good. I don't know, just with the market, it felt good to be lean.
Oh yeah,
like it just felt. Oh, this.
I was like, it did not feel good to go shooting. No, that's not.
I felt like we're in a okay place for where the market was.
Yeah,
but then it was like, well, it was a relief, if
actually.
I go out of town or someone else is out of town, then we really felt maybe too squeezed. So that didn't feel good.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you did have. I mean, obviously, I was out a lot, and not that not my absence of shooting was not that heavy, but I remember. I think I was that week when I was out when my mom was on her way out, like you guys were in Ojai like all week. It was like we had so many Ojai shoots, and I was in Twilight.
So I was like, oh my gosh.
So even me being gone, I think did really impact that. And then of course last week when we had the 20 shoots and we just had Jazz and Nikki, and Jazz is still a little green. I mean, she's doing a great job, but it's like. Then there's going to be a full week of shooting. And then Nikki...
And then she has other obligations with another part-time job, and Nikki scaled back a little bit or out. It was just like, man, suddenly it felt too lean.
Nikki had a bunch of, she had personal stuff going on that she had to attend to. And it was like, man, we were super squeezed. And I know Chelsea was like stressing, trying to fit everything.
No.
I mean, that's kind of
a little stressing.
One of the worst things, right?
Sarcastic.
When you're trying to grow and accommodate everyone, is like, you just don't want to ever have to say no to a client.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we don't have anything. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and we had to, right?
Oh, many times. Yeah.
We had to say, we had to turn down a bunch of work.
Well, no, I just had to push out. I think it was the first time where I had to tell people we don't have anything available till the following Friday.
Right.
Like from that Wednesday.
Right.
So people did not like hearing that.
No, they're used to 2 to 3 day availability. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and then I think we did have one of my good clients I've had forever, and is a good friend of mine, actually had to use somebody else because they needed to have something done immediately, and we couldn't accommodate, which is pretty rare for us.
Yeah, very rare. And that never feels good. And
yeah. I mean, yesterday we had a client call up and be like, oh, I forgot to book. Can you guys do it this afternoon? And yeah, I was there in like 2 hours. So yeah,
that's kind of nice.
Yeah. But of course, this week is much better.
Yeah. I squeezed in a few shoots on Saturday before PMRE, Saturday after PMRE. I'm just trying to keep everyone going.
Yeah. So, the short staffing is great when our payroll comes around, but then when it's, when we're squeezed, we're squeezed. But that's okay. I think, to have it be a little uncomfortable in terms of I'd rather have that problem than just being like, how are we going to get these people hours so that they will continue to work for us?
Yeah. We've had that a little bit, and that either one doesn't feel good, but that's kind of probably
I'd rather have the too much than too little.
Well, 100%.
Yeah. Cause that was tough this spring when everyone's like, okay, what's, and we're going to work. I had one shoot this week.
I thought this was a busy season. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really hard. But I think, overall, they did a great job and it worked.
Yeah.
Always a little quibbles with a thing here and there, but that would be true if Mark and I were shooting too. So, that was a testament. I think I've said it a couple times already, but it's like being able to go to and we were in Las Vegas all week. We were there. We left Monday morning. We got back Friday afternoon. So it really cut out a full week of shoots and it worked.
Yeah.
The business ran without us.
What was interesting is I noticed some people shut down their business, took their entire team. It's like, we're not available.
Yeah.
Do it before or after. And other people did that the year before and it didn't really work for us. So we'll bring a smaller team. Yeah. And there are other people with their laptops out at PMRE editing, doing still in the business. So I was like, well, where we were at, that felt like we're probably in the best place.
Anytime I walked by someone and they had their laptop in the showroom looking at real estate photos, I had to actually go up to them and I was like, come on, buddy.
Yeah. Give it up.
They're like, I know. I got to have an admin, everyone. I mean, that's the thing is no one wanted to be there looking at photos, we wanted to be, doing all the other stuff.
Yeah. But if you're subcontracting, whatever you're doing while you're gone, it's like you still overseeing all that stuff. And it's stressful to do that.
I can't see a moment where we would take the whole team to PMRE, and I feel like, to be fair, the conference, I love the conference, but it is more geared towards owners of the business.
Yeah, I think our team would pick up pieces here and there from certain presentations, but they would probably be bored sitting through the whole thing. And or also learn too many secrets, and then no. Actually, what I really would have liked to have been able to do this year, but we just didn't have the revenue to do it. Would be have our team take some of the workshops. I feel like some of those workshops would have been really helpful for people on our team. Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I'm at a point where I need or want to, I probably need to, but I don't want to grow my skills as a photographer or videographer. I'm focused on the business. So it doesn't make sense for me to take those workshops, but for, say Nikki to take the, Kelsey's branding workshop or like the video workshop would have been awesome.
That would have been good. Yeah. Just to reinvigorate and get some new energy going.
Yeah. So maybe if they're running workshops next year, maybe we'll be able to do something like that. That's if we have that's a goal.
That to me would be the value, and you want to kind of bring your team as a reward. So you want them to be getting something out of it. You're not dragging them to Vegas. Sit through this.
Here's congratulations. Now here's a lecture on copyright.
Yeah,
you don't need to know. Anyway. So then we got back from PMRE, and we're feeling good. We got all the short staff in, and then surprise,
big surprise.
Yeah. Marco comes crawling back. So I got a text from Marco who had quit once we'd said, we're going to give you more work. I can't do it. I'm not happy. And the gist of it, he said basically was like, he was in a better place and he wanted to, he was having some, so like he had like a breakup, or I don't want to get into his personal life, but he had other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And he, had another job, but it was only in the evenings or afternoons and evenings. And he was like, well, if you guys would like me to shoot for you, I could do it in the mornings.
And I think he added, no, seriously, like, cause we kind of joked around before, like, come,
well, I'd sent him a text a couple months ago and said, hey, do you miss us? Or do you miss shooting? Do you miss realtors or something? And,
it's like, I miss you, but not the work. Right?
Yeah. Cause what he said is that he wasn't liking the work. And that he didn't like working with the realtors, especially when the house wasn't ready.
He doesn't really care about houses or design, or it's not really his thing. So he's
exactly. So he was just like, it just felt like a job, and I just wanted to do other stuff. So it turns out, so he got a new job, and that job was delivering pizzas. Mm-hmm. And so he could do it. It's just like kind of evening job. And, which works out great for us actually, because it was like, that's when, and especially as we enter into slow seasons, to have employees who actually have another source of income and don't need to get everything from you and don't even want to get everything from you. That's like, wow, that's a really good place to be.
Yeah, and that was one of his other concerns was just the inconsistency, right? And the unpredictability and rescheduling. And it's just, man, if that's your main source of income, it's tough.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it does go to show that I think he did think ultimately that delivering pizzas was a better job than working for us. And there's nothing wrong with delivering pizzas, right? I'm not besmirching that at whatsoever. But we're providing a job where he can use his like professional skills that he's attained. He had video skills. I mean, he knows it. He has, I think an associate's degree in like video and stuff. And so he's passionate about that. But what we were providing him was worse than what he could do. And I don't even think it was a money thing, but even it's just consistency or whatever of delivering pizzas. And you're like, okay, that's a little bit of a gut check for me.
It's a bit of a blow. Yeah. Like, wow, that's a better option, I guess, or a better alternative.
Well, and I think one of that is like, well, you could pay them more. And it's of course, and we did. And when he came back, we actually gave him a raise. We have
little benefit, right? Anyway. Fringe benefits that help, I think, with expenses and mileage and all that stuff. But when you're on the employee,
and so many people I know are having contractors, but as we've talked about many times in California, you really can't do that. So you have to be, they have to be employees. And, then at a certain point, you can only afford to pay what you can pay because you have to pay all the taxes. You have to pay all this other stuff. You have to pay mileage.
It's so much more than the hourly, right? It's just a lot.
So, I think we see he probably still makes more per hour from us than he would delivering pizzas, but that gave him a little more consistency. And that, I mean, I don't know.
It's kind of, I just assumed he was doing video work, but just in another capacity, Right. But to hear that is like a little bit surprising and like,
And I get it. I get 100% get why he's doing it. And again, I'm not looking down on that job at all, but
now he has something solid, consistent, because 6 days a week.
Yeah. And but I guess what I always think about this job is that, we're offering, a path too for growth and for, and our company is growing. So your responsibilities and pay and everything else can theoretically grow as we grow as well. Mm-hmm. And you're learning new skills that you're going to be able to take to a different job if you are, but where then all of a sudden you go on a totally different track. Obviously, and so much plays into all that, decision making on those things, but it was a little like, oh, okay. All right. Well, we need to, that's just a good thing to think about and a good thing for us to always remember, that we want to make this a really good place to work for people. Right. That they're not going to want to leave.
Yeah. And how do we continue to build that culture and what is the culture and how do, when everyone's dispersed and in their own little bubble and we continue to try to check in with people and, nurture that, but it's challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. But I think we're in a good place. And I think, and Marco came back and he said, hey, look, I really have, my attitude about the work has really changed. And and he said, I think I will be happier doing it. And part of it probably is, the grass is always greener out there. And if he still wants to do video work, it is a good opportunity. I mean, you shoot a lot of video.
Yeah. There's some, not many places where you can do that consistently on a daily basis. So
yeah,
we're certainly happy to have him back. And
absolutely.
Absolutely. Like you said, a no-brainer for us to bring him back in, fully trained, ready to roll.
Yeah. Cause that's the daunting part, obviously, about hiring a new employee is the training. And, we have some ideas on how we might, approach training in the future, having some recorded stuff Mark doesn't have to just go through it every single time.
Yeah, putting a proper training manual together and all that.
Yeah, training videos and, all that type of stuff. So that's something that's on the radar. But in the meantime, when you can just hire someone and be like, I just reactivated your Slack account. You know how to use that. So, you know all the settings.
Hit the ground running. And it's just because it's just such an unknown with a new person. Are they really going to like it? And it's just, are they going to be reliable?
Yeah. And then I think for him, he's going to continue working his other job. And even, and we'll see once the spring rolls around, if he wants to come back more full time or if he wants to continue that. I mean, it's fine. Even just to have someone who can pick up a couple shoots a week in the morning. He said, that's all I really even... if that's what it is, that's fine. If it's more than that, that's fine too. So that gives us a ton of flexibility.
That feels good.
So awesome.
Because we got some time off over the holidays coming up and I got a big trip early next year. And just to have that extra person that can already do all the services.
It's a big relief. Really good. Because we're staring down Mark going to Australia for a couple of weeks in
February,
yeah.
Mid-February.
So I was stressing about that. And now after this week, I'm way less stressed.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
that's important.
We got this.
Yeah.
We don't need to add stress. We just need to relieve stress.
We do.
So Marco is the stress reliever.
Yeah, Marco, if you're listening to this, thank you for relieving our stress. It's almost like we got massages, but
it does.
Yeah.
It feels like the band's kind of back together, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, because we subcontracted with our other guy to do our cinematic Twilight because we don't know how to do it. And we still have to edit those in house. So, we're all, it's all big. Everyone's all still friendly and happy and there's no bad blood. So that's nice.
Well, I was talking to my kids about that like last night. Oh, Marco's back. Oh, and I was like, yeah, that goes to show you never want to burn a bridge. You always want to leave a job, in the right footing because you just never know what's down the road. And it worked out for him and us. And it's, a life lesson, I think, too.
Yeah. Interesting aside, our LinkedIn stuff. I know we always like to talk about LinkedIn and my personal journey on LinkedIn. I just got a connection request from the employee we fired a couple of years ago on LinkedIn.
Really?
I did.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So apparently even that bridge was not burned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Circling back around.
Yeah. So yeah, isn't that fun?
That is fun. Yeah. He was a good time.
Yeah.
Was he?
So we're coming in, we're leaner and all that stuff. So, and then too, right about that time. And so I don't know. I think everyone's been kind of reassessing their relationship to work. Cause I know another one of our employees was like, oh, I want to work a little bit less because I have other stuff going on in my life that I want to attend to. And it's not bad. It's just like, her work-life balance was out of whack a little bit. And so she wanted to kind of step back, just to more work 4 days a week instead of 5. And we're like, perfect actually coming into this lower time.
Yeah.
And then even Chelsea was like, oh, I need let's talk about this on the podcast because we haven't actually even talked about it.
We've talking about it, but we've never actually gotten there.
Yeah. So this is breaking. This is not, breaking news here. Whatever
fresh
happens
for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of like Nikki's like, better life balance, and Chelsea's like,
yeah, exactly.
I was going to say that, but I hold back more.
Yeah, exactly. You just try to suck it up and do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough because my husband, he's been affected by the strike for so long.
Well, of course. He's been home for like 6 months.
Yeah. So he's finally going back to work. But I think a lot of things were brought to my attention during that time with my son and just being so distracted all the time that I'm not always... He doesn't feel like I'm always present for him. So
it's like you're there in the room, right? But you're not really engaged.
You're always like, I have to talk to this realtor. Shut up, kid.
Yeah.
Not quite like that. But yes, I do. My patience does run short with him. Like if we've had a rough day with realtors and I'm annoyed. So then, he gets the grunt of that and that's not fair.
Right.
So I haven't actually sat and reassessed like what that looks like for me yet. I know you guys asked me to do that. So I still need to do that.
Right.
I was waiting until the strike was over because I can't, I can't take a step back from anything at the moment, or I couldn't. But now that there is a little more breathing room there, I do want to just look at what that looks like for me. And, just
whether that's adjusting your schedule or your responsibilities or whatever that might be.
Whether it's like an hour every day where I can just help with homework and like just before I have to dive into making dinner and everything else.
Right.
I just have to kind of look at my balance and what makes sense. So,
well, it's always tough too because that hour.
I know
is always
it can be crazy or it can be dead.
Yeah, it's the craziest. It's so often the craziest hour because I'm usually the one in my house. Doing the cooking and that's, and my kid is always hungry at the strike of 5. So it's like, I gotta, it's like it's 4:30 rolls around and I'm getting dinner prepped already, but that's when the phone is often just going nuts and, so
like
it's
4:57, like 3 minutes before Chelsea's done. Like you're like,
So, and anyone with kids, those, that after school time to bedtime is just like, it's the hardest time to do anything. And then that also coincides with, the end of the day when realtors, I got to make that appointment. I better call. And, I finally heard back from my client. And so now I got to do it. So
it's the 5 o'clock scramble, huh?
Yes, exactly. And, and with my husband leaving, now I'm like, okay, I need to figure this out.
Right. And in general, right. I mean, just to like, he'll be gone for weeks at a time or stretches,
So I just need to have a plan moving forward. And it's also, my son is getting into his preteen years. So there are some adjustments happening. He's now in middle school. Homework is a lot different than what it was last year. So he's struggling a bit, and I want to be there for him through these changes because he's having a hard time. So, yeah, it's just figuring all that out as we go. And and I don't want to let you guys down. That's been like another big thing. I'm like, I know that last hour can be really busy. So it's a struggle for me, like internally trying to figure out.
Well, we should come before your son. I mean, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah. And that just goes to show, I mean, as much I don't know, obviously we've talked so much about how valuable Chelsea is and then in a way, maybe we've said it too much because now you feel sheepish about, asserting what you need in your personal life to us.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just, these are changes I wasn't expecting. He's always been so like with ease at school.
Mr. Like, Independent. Huh?
Yeah. He seems so, you guys know him. He seems so much older than he is.
Big time. Yeah.
So when I see him hit this wall of like just really struggling and like crying almost every day and like struggling to just figure out what's happening in his life, I want to be there for him.
Sure. Yeah. You need to be there for sure. Yeah.
Like I just want it to be a little easier for him, all the transitions that are happening and going to happen over the next 3 years for him,
Right. So you don't want to be distracted by Peggy Sue calling.
I was going to say that,
the name.
But you did it.
Well, she's not listening to this.
Probably not that. But if you just get off the phone with that and it was like, where's this? And you're just like, you're coming in to help your son in that headspace. And that's not good.
And he's voiced it to me specifically. Like, you're always so you're always like so impatient and you're always working and you never have time for me. And like hearing that is like, it's like gut wrenching,
Yeah,
I don't want him to feel like that.
Parenting's hard, but it's also the way our society is set up, and we all got to work, and it's like it's hard to balance. It's hard for everyone to balance that. Right?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, so maybe that means bringing in more help for you, or scaling back your hours, or reconfiguring your hours, whatever that ends up being.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. We have to talk about that together. I think I can make a sheet of what I think could help, but I think it's just going to take us like sitting down together and really going into it because I don't even know what that looks like.
Right.
Yeah. It's like if you're not doing this stuff, then it's either Reed or I doing it, and how's that going to work? And we need to be scheduled to do that because it's going to slip through the cracks. And
yeah. Well, and ultimately it comes down to so much of this with the employees and with us is like it's the work-life balance, is the happiness, and you want to feel happy and fulfilled in your work, and like it doesn't dominate your life unless you really want it to, which I don't know really who does, but because I can see that if you're taking every day at 4 off, that would decrease my happiness quite a bit, right? Which is okay, right? And so, but it's like we just have to figure out what makes the most sense. And, because look, Mark and I own the business, so I think our happiness actually comes second to our employees, but it still is important. Right. And so we need to make sure that the business is configured that, our home lives, our family lives are.
Yeah. And we could do better about that when Chelsea's, off late on Fridays or on the weekends. It's just like, well, it's just the phone rings. Whoever picks it up. It's like we could be better about actually having on or off hours or scheduling who does this weekend or next weekend or whatever.
Yeah. Because I think that's what we always wanted to do that. But then it's just like, I have open phone on all weekend and you or I'll get it. Neither of us I can tell neither of us want to answer the phone on the weekend. And so it just goes to voicemail. And then
I know this client better. I'll do it.
Yeah. One of us will deal with it at some point. And we don't even communicate about it really, but it's, you say, he took care of it. So
kind of works.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely little things I've thought of we could integrate, like even just changing our voicemail on Fridays to have like, say it's after 4, just if you need to book an appointment, do so through our website. Yeah.
Which doesn't it say that already?
I don't think our voicemail does, no.
I think our text responder does, but the voice.
But that's after 8. So if we just change a few things, just if it's urgent and they really need to book, they will do so. And if not, it can wait.
The agent just needs to be heard. It's in their head and they're just sharing it with us. So if they have a way to share it, then that's good.
Right.
So.
All right.
Work in progress.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, to me, that sounds like we need to take some action. So that means it's time for our action items. our action items are sponsored by Pixel CRM, where you can scale your real estate photography business through automation. It's the all-in-one business and marketing platform that complements your current delivery app. And look, if you're listening to Upmarket Podcast, you can go to pixelcrm.com/upmarket and you get $200 off their monthly price. Well, that's some big money to save right there. So we did the Pixel CRM demo yesterday, actually, and we met, and this is run by Pete Stegel, who we met at PMRE, and it's a new CRM that is exclusively devoted to real estate media owners. So it's all set up with our needs in mind.
Right. And something he developed for his business, right? And now he's kind of sharing it with the industry.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And so we did his webinar yesterday, and it's pretty impressive. And I think we're gonna give it a shot for ourselves, because none of the platforms, Aereo or HD Photo Hub or Spiro or anyone else is actually a CRM. Right. So it's not a client.
And they don't really want to be, right? They're not trying to be.
Exactly. And I think none of them have plans to become a CRM because that's a whole different ballgame. And so this is a way that you can integrate a CRM into your workflows. And it also then works well with with Aereo or HD Photo Hub or Spiro or whatever. So any of those can work with Pixel CRM. You can check it out at pixelcrm.com/upmarket, and you're going to get a couple $100 off.
Nice. And how is it? PIXL, right?
Correct. PIXL CRM. Thank you, Mark, for that, because there was no E in Pixel on this. It's PIXLCRM.com.
Beautiful.
So, Mark, why don't you go first?
All right. I'll lay out my action item.
All right, do it.
So it kind of ties back to what we were talking about initially with tracking our new clients and how successful our kind of growth has been. And my action item is, for the listeners and for us, is to do a better job at tracking where your new clients are coming from. So at the very least, you can, if it's a referral, you can reach out to who referred them and thank them at the very least, but you should kind of have that bigger like macro view of what's going on and where the majority are coming from. If it's your social media, your website, if it is word of mouth, you should really know like what's working and what's not working, what you can do better. So it should be probably better than a janky spreadsheet that we have. Maybe a CRM system is better, right? I assume
that in the CRM, in the Pixel CRM, you would be able to ascertain those things.
And it kind of triggers, you can set up different triggers, right? So a new client comes in, they get the onboarding this, and they get a follow-up the next week. And I think something we should do as the owners of the business is actually reach out to that client a few days after their first shoot when they're kind of in our system, like, hey, just checking in. I think that'd be a nice touch.
Yeah, that would.
But if we're not properly tracking it and we don't know it, then it just kind of slips through the cracks. Right,
because we could set it up that it tracks and then it automatically adds it to our calendar or something. I mean, I'm sure there's the integrations that you can do with the CRM, I think are pretty interesting.
So. So I'm excited to integrate that and just do a better job with tracking it and making sure our referrals are, knowing that they're appreciated. And
well, we could always, throw them a gift card or something too.
Well, I did 3 or 4 shoots the other day, and 2 of them were brand new clients, and I had a nice chat with them, and one of them was referred to another photographer that was out of town, so I shot him a quick message, hey, thanks for referring so-and-so, we'll take good care of her. And the other one came through our website, which lets us know that our SEO is working, and that's kind of on point. So
boom.
There it is. Take action, baby.
All right. Chelsea, you got one?
I got one.
Oh,
it's not great, but I thought it was.
Come on.
I'll roll
Stop
with it.
with the negative self-talk.
It surprised me that you mentioned a lot of people didn't know about Caravan or don't have them. So I thought, why not do a little research and take action, see if there is one in your area.
There you go.
If there isn't one, get a little creative, poke around, talk to the brokerages, see what you can come up with to start maybe a weekly action of some kind.
Start your own Caravan. Sponsored by blah, blah media.
We learned today that ours came out of an affiliate networking group and blossom into this thing. And there's other affiliates that have their first Wednesday of the month. Like you can kind of create your own event. Maybe it's a charity event or whatever it is to just kind of bring the community together.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
What you got, Reed?
Oh, I got gangbusters. We're going all in here. Mine is to follow up. And I'm sitting here with a stack of people I want to follow up with after PMRE. And if I haven't gotten to you, I apologize. And I always, that's always a struggle for me too, even just when we're going to these in-person marketing events is just making sure that I actually follow up with, a personal email or a call or a text or something just to let them know that I was, thinking about what we talked about, or, just to have that another point of contact and to reinforce that connection that was made. And so,
especially after something like PMRE has hundreds of people, it's just like, it's
exactly. And that, sometimes you're like, well, that doesn't grow my business, but it does grow your business because, all that networking does help, and it gives a lot of juice to what we're doing here. And so obviously it's not quite getting us new clients, but it is bringing us new ideas and new strategies that we can use to grow our business here. But then, it's super important when when you just make those realtor connections to just follow up, whatever it is, the 9 points of contact or whatever it is before they're going to convert into a client, right?
Mm-hmm. Another way the CRM can hopefully help us, right, is just to track that stuff and just have a system around it.
Yeah, it's a lead. They call them leads.
There it is.
Yeah, I hate that word for some reason. It just sounds so impersonal, but what are you going to do?
Put them in the lead funnel.
Yeah, you put it, we're going to funnel them. Oh,
spit them out the bottom. I don't know what happens.
I love funneling a lead.
We're on it. See what that looks like.
Okay. Oh man, good to be back with the core team here on the podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you again to all our listeners. Great to see so many of you at PMRE. And we got, I said at the last episode, we're back, man. We got podcast planned. We're going to do that SWOT analysis. We got other stuff planned. It's going to be a good year.
That was a fun one.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.